Any kind of work. I could do jobs too. Work, jobs. It sounds like you want me to share. Yes, but that isn't what I asked. Now is it? I can't win. Share. Look at him creeping towards me. Hello everybody, I'm Degenerate, and welcome back to Obscura. Now, as I stated in my live on Saturday, I recorded this already, but the recording messed up. So I already know the whole route, but I'm not gonna not give it to you guys. Oleander's hot, so I'm not gonna just not do it. I'm not gonna skip to Francisco, which would be the last person, and then we have to wait for any other new stuff. So yeah, we're gonna start on this one. You hear this music? Anyways, I really like it. So let us begin. Oleander, we're starting. There's a little background information before we do officially start. In order to get here, you would have to not go to sleep, because there's a choice you get in the beginning after looking for the lunar core. You could either go to sleep or keep looking or whatever, and if you keep looking, you end up in this party or whatever. And then at some point, while you're walking around being curious, you find like people laughing, and then you see like a stranger or whatever, a stranger just standing there doing nothing, and that's obviously Francisco or Oleander. So we're going to Oleander. This is what happens after we approach the laughing people. I climb the 3 stairs to the higher platform and sneak around the circle of people. Someone's going to be leading the conversation, and I want to see who it is. Hilarious. He's a bit of a jokester, you know. He likes attention, so we know how to plan accordingly. Another peal of laughter erupts from the brightly dressed group. I think I can see the person in the middle of this conversation, beaming and conducting the hangers-on like a choir. There he is. And that's not even the worst of it. No, the worst part was the singing. The laughter dies down. Everyone is waiting for the next punchline. I was sitting there, trying not to lose all my hearing in one night, and I realized exactly what it sounded like. He sang like an angel, choking on, "Oleander, we've got news." A masked attendant pushes into the circle and towards the conductor of this merry group. Your timing is impeccable as always. The attendant either doesn't notice or chooses to ignore his snippy tone. From the Seven Sisters estate. Uh-oh. The attendant hands over a letter. The man, Oleander, steps back a little to read it. One of the merrymakers around me start to... I still don't know how to say that word. Grouse? I don't know. It's always when he's about to get to the best part. I swear, Ollie's cursed. Careful, he doesn't like that. Doesn't like what? Complaining? That's rich. The nicknames. It's Oleander or nothing. Before the first stranger can say something, I cut it. Oleander is his name? Is he the host of this little feat? I want to say. The two look at me and the pause hangs on a little longer than I want. Why are you here if you don't even know who Oleander is? Why are you... I'm sorry, this person... Stranger? That's what their name is, second stranger, so they mean absolutely nothing to me. Well, the doors were open and the music is good. I'm trying to read their body language, figure out exactly what kind of faux pas I've made. If I've even made one. So you just came in? Yeah. Doors open? Food? Music? I'm coming in. If it was meant to be a closed party, I'm certain someone rich enough to host this has the money to spare for a sign. Do not enter, very private event. I'm bracing for some flavor of insults. I'm not poorly dressed by any means, but I stand out here through my sheer lack of flamboyance. When an arm goes around my shoulder. Oh, the sign! I forgot to put up the sign. Although, you're not quite right. My sign is supposed to say no downers allowed. That keeps catching me off guard. Oleander leans in and I get a very close look at his mask. I can also smell some subtle perfume off him, something warm and spicy. Yeah. I'd say you don't look like a downer, but you could be a high liege. You could be the high liege of the White House. The White Stag House, and I wouldn't be the wiser. What a coincidence. Oh? Are you the high liege? I'm not the high liege of anything as far as you know, but that's not very far. That gets a laugh out of him. He takes his arm off me and pulls back enough to offer me his hand. I'm Oleander. It's my food and music you've been enjoying. You're welcome. I can hear the smile in his voice. I take his hand and give it a firm shake. Thanks for not locking me out. I've enjoyed eating your food. He looks at me a little longer, waiting for something. When he doesn't seem to get it, he turns to the others in the circle. And this is why I keep the doors open. Who knows what kind of fun we'll wander in. There's appreciative nods. Like the acrobats last time? Exactly! You don't get to see that every day. Well, you don't get to see them every day, poor bastard. He nods back at his conversation partner and the rest of the group breaks into chuckles. Again. Meanwhile, you're just swimming in acrobats. Drowning in them. Absolutely soaked with acrobats. I'd try to beat them off, but I suspect they'd like that. He sounds so smug even though it's completely ridiculous. It's an absurd game he's playing that everyone here is enjoying. And again, I can't say I dislike it either. But, and this is something I never say, leaving aside the acrobats for the moment. More laughter. Comedian. Baka. How is the stone shoveling business these days? Oh, you know how it is. Digging out tunnels, drilling in supports. No excitement to be found? Not as such. No pit openings under the workers nowadays. Don't hold out on me, mate. Aussie? Oleander's arm goes around the woman's shoulders. I bet you've dug up plenty of dirt worth sharing. You wouldn't like the dirt I'm getting. Too normal. Well, that's just boring. I need some entertainment. If you're not going to amuse me, what's the point of you? We know what we gotta do. We gotta speak. Exactly what I picked. I just get a feeling he needs, you know? He's being very adamant about needing excitement, you know? So I think our purpose is rather obvious. Everyone's attention is pulled my way. But I'm focusing on Oleander. My goal, as silly as it feels, is to provide the amusement he's clearly seeking. Like I said. Don't you need a crowd of admirers to delight in addition to your sources of amusement? Gasp! Shock! There's a few little gasps, sounds of a well-targeted jab, and not fear, thankfully. They're right, Oleander. I know a showman when I see one. What's the word for someone leading the show, surrounded by acrobats? He's pulled away from the woman. He was teasing and leaning a little towards me. A ringmaster? Oh, that's the one. I was going to say clown. I'm a jokester. A smattering of laughter. I don't know if I've crossed the line or if no one else is certain they're allowed to laugh at my jokes. I'm smiling as hard as I can, hoping he can hear that I'm only saying this for fun. You'd make fun of your own dear host, the one who fed you and played music for you? His tone is over-exaggerated drama. This is still a game for him. Thank goodness. I know an attention seeker when I see one. Takes one to know one. I know just your type. You see my parties and start swooning, and before you know it, you're doing everything possible to get my attention. And it worked, didn't it? A few of the surrounding crowd laughed properly, because it was so f***ing funny. Only because you've set out some irresistible bait. His voice drops a little, getting gravelly at the word minx. I think I'm at a disadvantage. You know who I am, and as far as I know, you are a wayward high liege of the White Stag House. That's not very far at all. No, it's not. Maybe I want to preserve the mystery. I might be dreadfully boring once you know who I am. And then where will I be? Well then. He turns to the others. Seems I have an admirer. Admirer might be a bit of a strong word. I do admire your chef and their work. If you wanted to know the chef, you would go to the kitchen. No, you want me. How did he know? Unfortunately, so does everyone else. There goes my happiness. He gestures broadly, sweeping an arm out to indicate the whole room. There's a smattering of chuckles. And I want wine. I can get you some. No, I think I'd rather get it myself. Ta-ta for now. He walks away, going around the group and passing behind me. Then I feel my hand on my shoulder. Then an arm along the top of my back. Then a chin on my shoulder. You want my attention? You got it. Ask the nice lady with the sword for vindication, and you'll see what that gets you. Then he's gone before I can answer. Okay. That was strange. The crowd lingers, but some of the people are dispersing. Well, I've answered my question. Oleander is quite the entertaining person. Which leaves a slightly more important question. Do I even want his attention? Someone with that much wealth and power could access Lunar Core. It could be my way forward. But someone with that much wealth and power could also do whatever he wanted to me with no consequences. My stomach churns, my curiosity is pulling me in one way, and my caution another. We're gonna go meet him. The nervous stranger is Francisco. We're gonna do that next time. Hopefully he's as interesting as everyone else has been so far. No one believed I would survive a day down here, and I did. I'll survive Oleander too. I find the woman with the sword easily enough. In a packed hall, she is still given plenty of space. I'm looking for vindication. You've come to the right place. She opens the door for me, stepping back just enough to let me slip inside. She closes the door behind her. There's a lantern on the table, burning as dimly as it's possible to be without going out completely. The chairs look plush, something I can confirm when I take a seat. It takes some time for Oleander to show up. In a little room barely bigger than a closet, and with nothing to pass the time, I can't tell how long I've been there. I practically jump in my seat when the door opens. Well, you're here. Excellent. Apologies for the wait. I'm a man in high demand these days. Took a while to shake off my admirers. I suppose I should thank you for your time? You're welcome. No, I only suppose I should thank you. I hadn't yet. But in supposing it out loud, you made your intentions clear to me, and thus, you're very welcome. He slides into the seat opposite mine, setting a wine glass down in front of himself. Wine? No more for me, thanks. I've got plenty. Still playing games, sure. Now, the first order of business. What's your name? If I tell you now, you'll have no reason to stay. Nonsense. You and I both know you have my attention. I'll hear you out, but don't make deals with people hiding their names. But I don't make deals with people hiding their names. Even though I could very well invent a name on the spot just for you. Just for me? I'm touched you'd do such a thing. He paused for a second, but starts talking again before I can get a word out. It's the principle of the thing, you see. Someone once called themselves No One, and I didn't spot the problems in time. They betrayed your trust, and then you were forced to say no one wronged me. Close enough. Give me a false name for that false face of yours. He holds out his hand. I'm degenerate. I take his hand and shake it once firmly. This is the second time. We shook his hand. Then I tuck my hand back under my cloak. No need to give him more body language to read. Pleasure to meet you. Most people aren't able to play these little games of mine at my level. Anyone who can is worth knowing. You caught my eye from across the room. Little flattery can't hurt. Oh? You mean you saw me and decided that you had to know more about a man of such obvious wealth and charm? He's so... Caught my eye might be a misstatement. I heard laughter and had to know the reason. I was suspecting a clown, but in hindsight, that was the obvious answer. Don't bruise my ego too badly now, I need that. Well, now you know who I am, or at least the important things. What do you want? It's the first thing from his mouth that doesn't sound like part of his game. This is a test, then. Lunar Accord. I can almost hear him testing the odds in his head, deciding whether or not to believe me. Many people want Lunar Accord. Of course they do, but I need it. That is already more information than I want to give. And it seems like Oleander can tell. Did I pass the test? Well, that sounds terribly serious. He's saying it with a smile so big I can hear it. Let me guess. You've been around and no one's selling the stuff. Worse than that, you're never going to be able to afford what it costs now anyways. Then you find a fancy party with a host who's obviously got coin, and you think to yourself that he might be your ticket to rare and valuable objects. I do have to wonder what your plan for wringing a core out of me would be. I'll do work. Any kind of work. Any kind of work? I could do jobs too. Work, jobs. Don't make promises you don't intend to keep. The threat is obvious, but I've already made my choice. Anything, as long as I'm alive in the end, I don't care. Oleander sucks in a breath through his teeth. Don't say that now. Sometimes being alive is the worst thing that can happen to you. I stand by what I said. There's another pause. I let it hang there. I'm not about to change what I've said, no matter what Oleander suggests. Well then, I have some interesting news for you. I take it you don't know my career? No, I totally don't know what it is. Wink, wink. Either you've earned your wealth or you were born into it. I earned it, as much as you might doubt me. I call myself a lot of things, depending on who is listening, but I think the most apt term for someone like me is smuggler. I don't go between the topside and marketplaces much anymore, but there isn't much that enters or leaves the mountain without me knowing. He's a merchant. Then you would... And probably your best hope for finding Lunar Accord here. And it just so happens that I am currently looking for a new assistant. What happened to the last one? Oh, he found himself a new opportunity, sleeping his way to the top of a gambling house. Good for him. Yeah, that's what I said. Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, they say. That said, I wouldn't like to have to recruit another assistant so soon. So if you would be so kind to stay with me and not be seduced by anyone else. I could do that. That's super easy though. Like, I'm probably not gonna find a better option, right? That's what I said. I'll take the job. Sounds good, I'll take the job. Then you're hired. It's that easy? Oh, there's one more thing. Here's the catch. All of my assistants go by Vigil while on the job. You'll have to agree to that. Oh, is that all? I know it's just one more name to put on the pile. You're clearly someone who uses a new fake name with everyone, but I hope you can ignore it. I think I can tolerate it for now. Good. He reaches out to me once again, so I respond with yet another handshake. That's the third one so far. Before I can put my hand away, however, he grips it a bit more firmly. I hope that working with you is as pleasurable as our conversations have been. I know what else could be pleasurable too. Just you wait. He brings my hand up and presses it to the painted mouth on his mask. Then he lets go of my hand and tips his head to the side. I know without needing to see that he's smirking. It was a strange gesture, but it still takes me a second to recollect my thoughts after it. There's a second of silence, but Oleander is quick to fill it with a time and place to meet up tomorrow, as well as more mundane details about the work. If he's being honest about everything, the pay will even be decent. Ooh. Wait for the second one. There it is. The clock tower rings twice. No, maybe not. I have no remaining frame of reference to know if it's indicating the middle of the night, the early morning, or some mysterious third alternative. What I do know is that I am in the right place at the right time. 2 o'clock at the Candle Park. Vigil, pleased to see you here. You say that like you're surprised to see me. I thought you might just take my secrets and run. I didn't learn anything. I have learned a great deal about Oleander's business. Above ground, I would call him a merchant. He sells goods from the underground and purchases goods from above ground. He connects buyers and sellers. It's the kind of goods he's trading that mark him as unusual. No live humans, thankfully, but I saw a box of teeth that looked nauseatingly familiar among the goods he was sending out. Then there were the magical goods, and the allegedly magical goods. I guess this means you've been ensnared by my good looks and winning personality? There's no way I've learned all your secrets yet. Oh? Is that all you want from me? My first choice was the fact that he's charming, which I guess he is. Like, he's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But to get the best ending, I would have to have said this. So that's what we're gonna do. Your money's pretty good too. Oh, so mercenary of you. Aren't you even a little glad to be seeing me again? Honestly? Yes. When I woke up today, I was looking forward to seeing him again, even if he's in danger. But I'm certain he is. He's at least an entertaining one. But from our first meeting, I've known enough about him to know that saying that would make him intolerably smug. Fishing for compliments already? Do you need my approval that badly? He drops his voice both in pitch and in volume. There's a difference between need and want. Whoa! One I would be glad to demonstrate. The tone of his voice is so outrageously vulgar that it stops my thoughts dead for a moment. Later, that is. We have work to do. We have work to do all the time. There is never a later. He sweeps his jacket around and turns into the motion, making his way to the sweetly decorated tea shop. I keep in step, just slightly behind him. This place is nice. It is very pretty. The first word that comes to mind when I step inside is fro-fro. I guess. The decor isn't garish, but it's very bright and intricate. The lamps are blazing brightly compared to anywhere I've been. The walls are practically lined with paper and fabric flowers, bursting forth in fragrant, frothy bouquets. Someone has lit incense or sprayed perfume in the air. Forgive me for saying so, but this doesn't look like your kind of place. When Oleander told me we would be going to a tea shop, I imagined a moody, smoke-filled back room. Perhaps that's a failure of my own imagination. Oh no, this is definitely not my kind of place. Or not. We are here because of our next potential client. We navigate the tightly packed tables and chairs, and stop at one table with a man sitting at it. The man is plain, even scruffy. He's slouching so deeply and crossed his arms so tightly it's hard to tell if he's extraordinarily short or trying to look small. Look who it is! It's Griff from Kier's route. What the connection? Very cute. Pleasure to see you again, Griff. Oleander takes a seat. I follow suit. Why the sugar-dusted fuck are we meeting here? Because I knew you'd say something excellent like sugar-dusted fuck about it. Oleander sounds entirely too pleased with himself. And who's this? You know who I am. Stop playing. He jerks his chin in my direction. This is Vigil. Rude. I'm gonna kick him. I think it's cute and funny. It's not an easy angle, but I'm able to give Oleander a swift kick to the shin. He hardly flinches. I wasn't aiming to hurt him, to be fair, but does glance over at me. Message sent. Another one? What happened to the last one? He found himself a more satisfying career elsewhere. Good for him. This new vigil is quite good, though. Picks up things quickly. They're right here, too, and very capable of speaking for themselves. The last vigil never talked. Glad you got a bit more guts. Maybe he just couldn't get a word in edgewise with this man as boss. Griff chuckles. It's not a contest, but I do feel like I'm winning. It's 'cause I am. A member of the waitstaff comes by asking for our orders. Oleander orders tea. Griff orders what sounds like a very expensive cake. I'm gonna get me some cake too. Why not? I asked the waitstaff for a recommendation for something light. They advised me to order a slice of cake that should be lighter than air, and a cup of tea to go alongside it, so I do. If you're quite finished slandering me, I do have a business proposition for you. When don't you? Oleander brushes right past that comment. I've recently received some information from a very trusted source about a witch ring that is currently available. Me, a witch ring? Actually? So I've been led to believe. It's currently in the hands of our beloved auctioneer. No fucking way. Not the auction, the auctioneer. She's currently living in an apartment above the Pearl Choker, which is where that heist took place. Connections. I've been at that apartment once. It's well protected, but it's certainly not at the same level as the auction house. It's not watertight or mouse-proof. Okay, I'm listening. I thought you might. Vigil, if you would. Oleander holds out a hand. I dig through my pocket and hand over an egg-shaped gold capsule. I paid a very pretty penny for this information, so I expect you not to wreck what's been a very fruitful relationship. You don't need to put on the scary mask for this, man. You know I'm not about to screw you over. If you didn't kill me, Kier would. Oleander hands over the capsule. Griff cracks it open and lets the two golden halves fall to the table. He unfolds the papers that were packed inside the egg and starts reading, hunching himself over the pages to protect them from prying eyes. I sweep the two egg halves across the table towards me and pocket them again, just as our orders arrive. Without looking, Griff begins devouring his cake as he keeps reading. Why put the papers in an egg if I'm just going to be giving him the papers and keeping the egg? A mystery for another time. What do you think? I think you gotta stop rushing me. Not all of us read as fast as you. You're already getting to the detailed pages. What do you think about the broad strokes? I think... Griff closes his fist around the papers, turning them into a crumpled tube. That I gotta talk to Kier about this. It's a good job. We could do it if we were at full capacity. Which we would have been if I was there. And you're not? Gups got hurt during a freelance gig. Poor Gups. I know that tone of voice. Oleander does not know who or what a Gups is, but he needs to sound sympathetic and keep the conversation going. Well, you know where to send word if you take the job or drop it. I'll be down in your neighborhood with supplies soon enough. Looking forward to it. In the meantime, send Kier my love. Griff's tone is one of irritation. Don't make me say that. Kier hates hearing that. Exactly why I'm saying it. You're the worst. I am a delight that you can never get enough of. Your money is a delight, that's for sure. Charming as ever, Griff. Bye, Griff. It was nice seeing you again. Griff stands up and leaves without so much as a farewell. Oleander and I are left sitting at the table with Griff's empty plate. So, that was Griff. Yeah, he's a delight. He's a funny one, isn't he? That's one way to say it. I start in on my cake. Oleander pours himself a cup of tea. And who's Kier? Stop it, we know who that is. An old friend? I think that's what he'd say. Well, that's something to look into later. We already did. Then you send him your love because... You heard, Griff. Kier will find it deeply annoying, and I think that's amusing. For someone so enamored with their own wit and charm, you sure are dedicated to being an absolute pest about it. The word for me you're looking for is debonnoir. I'm butchering that, but I don't care. The word I'm looking for is gadfly. You guys are the worst. I can't with these thesaurus type words, bro. You know, I've heard people call me that before, but it sounds so much more interesting coming from you. But enough about me. That's a rare sentence. I have a very nice pot of tea that needs to be drunk. He unlatches his mask with a slow deliberateness that makes it look like he's putting on a show. This one. Then he raises his teacup and takes a slow sip. He lets out a satisfied moan and chuckles. Excellent stuff. I suppose a shop is dedicated to the botanical arts, as this one would have some skill at making tea. I wonder if they'd tell me their source. It's idle wondering, but it makes me smirk a little. Oleander seems to get drawn back into work without much prompting. And how is your cake? Delicious, thank you for asking. And are you going to share? It sounds like you want me to share. Yes, but that isn't what I asked, now is it? I can't win. Share. Are you going to share? Well, that depends on what course of action you take. You're never not a businessman, are you? Ah, trade doesn't occupy my whole life, but I do find life is better when a mutually pleasurable option is available. The hint of flirtation is getting under my skin. Without another word, I take a bit of my cake into my fork and hold it out for him. He leans in, slowly and deliberately. I can't see his eyes exactly, but I can't shake the feeling that he's staring directly at me as he closes his mouth around the bit of cake. Then he pulls back, and I see the smirk this time as he says, "Exquisite." I'm keenly aware that I'm being teased. Damn this man. He lifts his own teacup and holds it out for me. Your turn. Take a drink, bro. Be a daredevil. Let it happen. I have to put my hands around Oleander's to guide the cup to my mouth. The tea is ginger hot and sharply bitter. It's a complex flavor, and I let it sit on my tongue for a while. Good, isn't it? It's a powerful taste. When we're done eating, we pay and leave the little tea house. Oleander promises to forward a list of things I will need to do in the next few days. Chores from the sound of it. Which I do well, by the way. I might have died while doing it, but you'll know later. Bruna, hi. Good to see you again, you shadowy figure. A letter arrived for you. Bruna sits down at my bowl of porridge as well as a letter and leaves. Bye. The letter itself has been scented with some kind of perfume thick enough to be able to smell through my mask. Degenerate. A client of mine is hosting an important little party, and I have been told that I may bring whoever is the current vigil along. I suppose I wasn't doing anything else today. Searching the stalls and trying to pull rumors from shopkeepers is important work, but sometimes I long for a break from it. I'm really starting to appreciate Oleander's intrusions into my otherwise monotonous schedule. Here is your checklist to accomplish before the clock strikes 7 tonight. The rest of the letter is a list of locations and what I am to do at each, and where we'll be meeting tonight. The clothing rental, a wine shop, and someplace called Satine where I'm supposed to pick something nice. The makings of a very exciting party from the sounds of it. It makes my very ordinary porridge feel rather dull in comparison. Still, I'm not going to let my breakfast go to waste. Checking Oleander's directions against my own mental map. The shops are laid out so there's no efficient way to visit them all. I am free to take them in any order I please. Where do I want to go first?
A few moments later.
I follow Oleander's final direction to a squat apartment building. I have to climb 2 flights of creaky stairs to find the room indicated in the letter. I knock. Oleander? The door is unlocked, darling. I'm darling now. It takes a little maneuvering to twist the doorknob when I am carrying several parcels, but I get it done. The room I enter is heavily perfumed, with elegant lamps and on every surface, and an abundance of colorful fabric draped from the ceiling. Welcome to my parlor. Oleander is lounging in a well-loved armchair. His head tipped back, he must only see a sliver of me through the eyelids of his mask. I didn't realize that as an assistant I would be doing your shopping. This is a shopping trip for your benefit. He stands up. Well, what kinds of treasure did you find? I hand him the wine bottle. Good job not spoiling the surprise. You're welcome, I didn't exactly want to die. The shopkeeper called me a pheasant. Don't mind her, that's just her way. We parted on good terms, I think. Oh? She was happy to be rid of me, and I was happy to leave. A happy arrangement for both of you, then. What else did you find? You went to Satine like I told you? I did. Good, Vigil. I roll my eyes, but bring out my discovery. It's a nice old mask, but frankly that's not what I'd like to see you wearing right about now. He dropped his voice low and he's smiling, I can hear it. Is he flirting? Anyways, you haven't neglected to rent clothes, have you? I went to the dress cave. Ah, then you've met poor Bobbin. He's some kind of cousin to the owner, that's the reason he works there. He's not well suited for the job. He was doing his best. I guess. He was doing his best to help me. I don't doubt that. That's rather the problem, if that's his best. I doubt he'll be in the merchant business much longer. I bring out my parcel, but don't open it. Do I get to see it? Once I'm wearing it, maybe. If you're going to keep me in suspense like this, I suspect it would be very good. It will be. You wait. If you get your hopes up too high, I'll never meet your expectations. I will set my hopes as high as I please. If you want to satisfy me, you'll simply have to work it. Work for it. Totally. With that, he starts in on party preparations. He is going in his usual outfit. He has a brand he needs to maintain. He handles the wine while I go to a small side room to get dressed. I re-enter the parlor with my cloak wrapped tight around me. Do I finally get to see what outfit you've chosen? Show off. I spread my arms wide, lifting my cloak away from my body. I pull it back on my left side, and then my right, turning my body to give him a better look. Then on impulse, I turn on the spot, letting my cloak flare out. Oleander claps. Bravo. Unless you keep your cloak closed at every turn, you're going to be noticed wearing something like that. Like you and your coat? Very much like me and my coat. I suppose you want to advertise your wealth and access? As your assistant, I would be advertising your wealth, wouldn't I? That goes without saying, but I wouldn't be surprised if you were approached privately tonight. Foreshadowing. Plenty of assistants and apprentices build their initial clientele while working for someone else. Worried about competition for me? Not remotely. If you think you're up to it, come and get me. At any rate, you've chosen something stunning. You'll have to chase off work offers with a stick. I wasn't planning on taking a different job. Your rate is quite good. Good. Stick with that. And as an incentive, he steps to the side and picks up a parcel off a chair. A gift. This one you can keep. I open the parcel and out spills a length of slate gray fabric, thick and smooth. In the fabric there is a shimmering pattern. I thought you might still wear your cloak over your very fine outfit. If you must, at least wear something worthy of the event and your own charms. Something clatters on the floor. A heavy silver brooch has fallen out of the folds of the fabric. You're not going to ask this back from me? It would hardly be a gift in that case. And I don't owe you money for this? It's a gift, not a debt. It's yours. Thank you. And anyways, it came to me at no great cost. A lovely young thing forgot it here several months back. I just found a brooch to finish the outfit. I roll my eyes. Leftovers from a previous conquest. Thanks. It's clean and it's yours now, so stop grousing and get changed. Fine. I do. Then we are off to the party. The party is being hosted in a mansion, of course. There is no formal government within the underground, but there are the richest and most powerful families in it. The lords of the marketplace. We go beyond the ruby walls. To the center of one of the richest neighborhoods, the mansion is whitewashed and light floods from the open doors and windows. There's several stories to it, but there's a strangeness to the architecture. It feels put together from disparate pieces, as though the mansion was expanded several times and each was designed by a different hand. Well, it's nice to see that the good Lord Valentine is continuing his explorations into the world of architecture. This is new. The wing we're entering was not here the last time I visited, though in fairness, that was in another life. We pass through a gate and are met by several attendants. Here's my invitation, and this is my +1 vigil. Welcome, sir. There's that beat again. We pass into the mansion. The main room is open and tall, at least 2 stories. There are balconies overlooking the main ballroom floor, and I can see some heads turning our way as we enter. A member of the staff approaches, and Oleander is quick to hand over the bottle of wine. Send this to Clarity. Then he directs his attention my way. Tell me honestly now, what's your drinking tolerance? I can hold my own. Well, that's good to hear. Some folks like to drink together as a social activity. It's always nice to partake with others. Now, if I were to have said, like, I don't drink or something, he would have told me not to, right? Then later, after not drinking, I come back, he offers me a drink, I take it because I thought he wanted me to take it. But then afterwards, he fires me because I drunk after he said not to drink, but it was a drink from him, so it made no sense. It got me so upset, but he did say not to drink, so I guess that was like a test or something. I don't know. Because then afterwards he asks, "Oh, did you drink?" And I say yes, and then he's like, "You went against my orders," and it's like, bruh, it was a drink that came from you. Why you gotta be so mean? But yeah, it didn't make sense to me. It bothered me a little bit, but it is what it is. That said, keep it to 1 or 2 drinks tonight. I need you to keep your head on your shoulders. Obviously, if I have more than 2 drinks, he's gonna notice, and then I probably get fired. Is that an order? Sass all you like, but this is work for you and I. Just because it's happening while others play doesn't mean we get to fool around the same way. We stop loitering at the door. Oleander is quick to spot someone. Is that my favorite bell ringer over there? Someone turns, their mouth is uncovered, so I can see their transformation from confusion to happiness as it happens. Son of a bitch, it's Oleander! That's all it takes for significant attention to come our way. Uh-oh. We missed you, darling. How's business been lately? How could you leave us for so long? He revels in it. He's in his element. I've been pining away for these parties since I've been gone. Unfortunately, there was a very good opportunity waiting for me in the dust chambers, and I couldn't resist. You went down into the dust chambers? And it makes for a very good story, but first, he gently waves an arm in my direction. I'm the newest vigil, pleased to meet you. These feel like the kinds of people who expect to be bowed at, so I give them a deep nod. Now, I did notice you. I was hoping you would. I sway slightly, letting my cloak away, and reveal a little more of my outfit. This is a darling vigil, Oleander, not like your last one. I'm I'm rather fond of this vigil. New though they may be, the last vigil was skilled, but not much of a social being. That's hard to believe, considering where they are now. Though I heard the last vigil found something very social to do for himself. Yeah. Ugh. Yes, he did. I was disappointed to learn he was leaving, but I can't fault him for his reasons. You, on the other hand, he turns to me. I expect you to stay by my side for a long time to come. No running off to get a job as a pleasure parlor bunny, you hear? What are you gonna do to keep me? Yeah. I don't know. Being a pleasure parlor bunny sounds pretty fun. What are you going to offer to compete? I offer you good wages and an education, and you demand more? There are some unique benefits to working at a pleasure parlor. Well, Vigil, I think these kinds of contract negotiations better happen in private, unless this public negotiation is another benefit. I can't help but laugh. Oh, he's found another one like him. You two are going to be unbearable. Now don't say that, you'll make poor Vigil feel terrible. If you're going to flirt with your assistant, I'm going to be feeling terrible. Spoil sport. Oh, very well. Vigil, go and enjoy yourself. Enjoy a nibble or two. If I need you, I'll track you down. Alright. I'd frankly rather stay with Oleander given that I'm his +1 and he's the only person I know here. But I'm intrigued by what kind of food gets served at a party like this. We're probably gonna just skip this part to conserve time. Because it's not all that interesting. Basically, what happens, we get the choice to get food or drink. We're gonna pick food, obviously. Some guy approaches us with a freaking proposition. We're gonna decline his offer because it's not our place. So, yeah. And then we get approached by another fucking guy. Adonis. If we took his drink, it would have been drugged, obviously. Because him and Oleander have beef. So we're going to decline. We get to this library where people commit coitus. They go over here to socialize. He offers us whatever. We're going to tell him to stop touching because we don't want that, obviously. It happens again. There's no way, even if we let him keep touching us, we still end up saying that we're working. So if you want to do anything with this guy, it wouldn't have happened. And now we're back. It was just some normal party banter, I guess. That's about it. And now we do this. Vigil, welcome back. Good to see you haven't gotten into trouble. Now I don't have to pretend to be my minder now. I'd be more concerned about you causing trouble. I've been having some adventures. Oh, enlighten me then. We basically just tell him about the person that asked us to get him to work with them or whatever. And then we tell him about Adonis. And then he tells us that they're like, you know? Now are you going to ask me what I've been up to? I've been flirting and deal making and putting yourself at the heart of the party. However did you guess? You are, if you'll forgive me saying, sir, a bit predictable. He chuckles, the sound coming from deep in his chest. He leans in close, his mask brushing the hood of my cloak, then he rumbles. Just because you haven't seen them yet doesn't mean I'm not full of surprises. Oh. No. I feel like I've just noticed a steep drop that I've been walking past unawares. As much as I'm startled by it, the adrenaline rush that also comes is thrilling. But how about a drink first? No, I'm okay. Or well, I actually can, because this is one. That sounds nice. It does, doesn't it? He waves over a member of the staff who's carrying a tray. He takes 2 glasses and hands one to me. Cheers. We clink our glasses together and enjoy a sip. Then to my surprise, Oleander takes a silent step back. Before I can respond, the Alpha has replaced him. A man, I think, wearing a gilded wolf muzzle mask. With a distinct patina. Patina? I don't know. Hello, you're the newest vigil if I recall. I am. Excellent. I was looking forward to meeting you. I say the same, but I don't know who you are. Ah, yes, you can call me... They think about it just long enough that they may just be putting on a show. Wolf. That'll do nicely. Pleased to meet you. Wolf. I'm certain that's your name. I see why he likes you. Thank you. Is that why you wanted to meet me? In a manner speaking, yes. I don't know how much you know about Oleander's previous assistants. Only that the last one left to pursue another career. Well, that was an unusual case, but some of his other assistants left when they funded training careers of their own. Makes sense. Treat working for him like an apprenticeship. Exactly. And those assistants have gone on to be quite successful. And unfortunately, I failed to see their potential in time. So I'm a business opportunity? Patron sounds more appealing, I would say. I think I could bring a few opportunities your way, and in exchange for that assistance, you might be able to find some things you could do for me. Can't say I expected this. It's an appealing offer, but do you need a response now? Parties like these feel like a good place to propose deals, but not to seal them. He laughs. No, I agree with you. This is neither the time or place to make that choice. He picks up 2 wine glasses from a passing tray and holds one out to me. But you'll think on it, won't you? I'm good on that. Taking the glass. Everybody's been offering me drinks left and right, like damn. I wave my hand just enough to signal my rejection of the wine. No need to bribe me. I'd think on this offer even if you didn't give me wine. I'd be an idiot to not take this chance. I doubt a patron can open more doors for me than Oleander can. But if I have even one more chance to find an accord without him, I need to take it. I'm not about to be desperate about it. My new patron leaves, and Oleander fills in the gap as if he was never gone. Have I lost you to a better offer then? I received a very tempting offer to become a pleasure parlor bunny. But I remembered you ordered me not to do that, and so we renegotiated. Well, I'm glad I can trust somebody to stand by me. And I have an important question. I'm bracing myself. How are you at dancing? I'm gonna say quite good. I'm quite good, actually. What a coincidence, so am I. Shall we show the rest of the party how it's done? Sure. He offers me his arm. I like the sound of that. The musicians strike up a new tune as we cross into the dance floor. Well timed. You'd be surprised how often a little observation and foreknowledge will go in impressing people. He settles his hands on my waist. I'll take the lead this time. That's completely fine, I don't care. Oh, not going to let me sweep you off your feet? That is something I would love to see. The music is playing a sultry tune in 4. And it's easy to predict what style of dance Oleander is going to take. His hand closes around mine, and we begin to glide across the dance floor. He is a confident leader, and I know exactly how to follow. So Vigil, what do you think of this? I never imagined myself to be at a party like this before. It's impressive. I understand why so many stories are set during these kinds of fancy parties now. There's something unreal to this kind of festivity, isn't there? Music, indulgence, and beauty. I'd like to read that book. And from the sound of it, you've made some good progress as my assistant. It's a start. He signals a turn, then swings his arm out. I spin outwards, then back in. He holds me closer, bends forward in a shallow dip. And what do you think? Is this life something you'd like? Yup. Honestly, yes. I would pick that every time if I had to. The life of a merchant's assistant isn't so bad. I think I could come to enjoy this. Oh, so a beautiful outfit and a high-class party are only enough to make you think you might enjoy this life? What'll it take to convince you? You're insatiable. You just have to keep impressing me. That won't be too hard for you, right? I'm glad you're beginning to understand. We turn across the dance floor. It isn't a contest, but we are easily the most graceful pair on the floor. Oleander's hold on me is firm but proper. He makes no effort to pull me closer into the dance hold or sink his hand lower than it should. Why not? Just do it, it's fine. I don't care. For a man so open and forward about his sexuality, it comes as a bit of a surprise. I suppose I've judged him unfairly in that way. I have an impulse, and I do not deny it. I hold tighter to Oleander's shoulder and pull myself just a bit closer. It doesn't take long for him to understand. Oh, is that the game you're playing? He growls these words. And his hand presses firm and lower on my waist. I can feel the beat of the music intensify. When he dips me again, the face is so close to mine. His face, sorry. His face is so close to mine, I can hear our masks scrape against each other. When the music ends, we retreat to the edge of the dance floor. Vigil, let's talk. How worried should I be? I get the distinct impression he's smiling at me. Let's take this somewhere a little more private. I expect him to go towards the library, but instead he leads me towards the stairs and we climb them. At the top of the stairs, there is what amounts to a walkway that wraps around the ballroom, with the floor below in easy view. There are people up here, but fewer than I would have guessed. I suppose, compared to the library, this is not ideal for most kinds of antics. But it is at least a little quieter. Let's take a stroll, shall we? Oleander offers me his arm, and I take it. We start our stroll. It's good to be back. I was away from this sort of thing for a while, you know. Down in the dust chambers. You weren't listening, well done. It's my job, isn't it? I'd be a poor assistant if I wasn't paying attention to you. Except all those times you sent me away, of course. And in sending you away, you had plenty of adventures. Spreading your wings is important in this business. And I quite like you. Not everyone wants to or can keep up with me. I'm glad to have someone with me who is able to follow me so well. His voice gets so gentle for a second. I don't trust easily, and you're certainly not there yet. Damn. But it's been easy to start the process with you. I don't know how to say what's in my head. If I tell Oleander that being with him has been fun and enlightening, an experience I'm glad to be having, I doubt he'd take me seriously for long. And his ego would be unbearable. It's been a pleasure working with you. You say that like you're about to stop. At least wait until the night is over before you decide to leave me. I still have something show-stopping to show you. He makes it sound sexual, of course. Is that your way of propositioning me? Depends on if you're looking to be propositioned. And what would you want from that? I've hardly had a chance to think that far. If you're as good as your boasting makes you sound, it's not boasting if it's accurate. Then it's just a statement of fact. After all the facts you've implied to me, your record sounds incredible. Now I'm curious if the man lives up to the legend. After tonight, if you still want to work with me, you can always ask. You won't be winning any advantages in your career. But if you consider a good oh my god. Oh, I didn't see this before. I did not see it until the last second. Okay. That's not what I was expecting him to say. At least he's not expecting sexual favors from me. I'll consider it. I'm glad. Give it a thought. Damn. I did not expect that at all. Oh man. It's not long until we finished a complete circuit of the walkway. Well, I've got one more bit of business to accomplish tonight. Come along, Vigil. This will be something memorable. It is memorable. I feel the strange sense of anticipation build in me. Oleander promising something memorable has so far paid off in impressive lights. He takes us back to the entrance of the hall, approaching a member of the staff. I believe Lord Valentine has agreed to meet privately with me? Of course, sir. The staff members start walking and we walk half a step behind them. He's something. Just like that? I know Oleander's distinctive, but even so, I would not expect him just be taken to the lord of the household without some kind of proof. Perhaps he has a closer relationship with the master of this house than he mentioned. We walked back down a familiar hall toward the library. The staff member leads us through the labyrinth, and somehow we do not come across any couples in the midst of private business. Here you are. Thank you, Clarity. The woman that we gave the wine to. Oleander tosses the staff member a coin. They bow and leave, and Oleander knocks on the door. Lord Valentine, I believe you are willing to speak with me? It's Oleander. Come in, Mr. Oleander. Oleander. Lord Valentine's office feels like a natural extension of the library. Lord Valentine himself is a surprisingly small presence in the room, though not for a lack of trying. He's dressed ornately. Sitting at an impressive desk, he nods to us but does not stand. Strange. I've taken the liberty to order us a bottle of wine. I'm certain you don't mind. Did he? Perhaps while I was off on my own merry adventures. Very good. I could do with some wine. When I threw this party, I thought I would get to enjoy more of a carousing myself. The terrible weight of being sought after. I hope for the sake of future carousing, the fewer people will take an interest in you. Lord Valentine scoffs. Pardon me, I forgot to introduce myself properly. I am Oleander. As you well know, I pride myself as a merchant capable of both discretion and trustworthiness. He bows. And this is my assistant, Vigil. I bow. A pleasure to meet you, Lord Valentine. The pleasure is all mine. I haven't taken my eyes off you this whole time. It's because of that red getup. And to what do I owe your interest? Oleander slides gracefully into the chair across from Lord Valentine. I stay standing, hovering over his shoulder. Hovering around him like a decoration. I've heard that you might have need of a new merchant contact. And I thought I would put forward the best name I know. Mine. Lord Valentine chuckles. A bold stance. Tell me, how would you live up to it? If I had a pen and some paper, I would record the details of the meeting plainly. As it stands, I can only just keep up with the rapid conversation between the two men. As ridiculous as they might be, both of them understand trade very well. If I'm right, it's a lucrative deal if we can get it. A knock on the door interrupts the talk. Vigil, if you would. I answer the door and bring in the bottle of wine. This is familiar. I don't say anything as I hand the bottle off to Oleander. If he wants to pretend that the wine he bought actually came from Lord Valentine's cellar, that's his business. Lord Valentine opens a drawer for his desk and brings out 3 glasses, short ones, for liquor as opposed to wine. Does the assistant drink, Mr. Oleander? No, they're not one for drinking. Oleander pours a glass for himself and Lord Valentine. He really needs to stop speaking on my behalf. I don't think you'd want to drink this wine. I'm gonna let you know that right now. Perhaps I need to give him another nudge in the shins later. Oleander and Lord Valentine clink their glasses together and drink. Oleander moans satisfied. I love doing business with the lords of the market. You serve the best wines. There's an unusual taste to this one. I'll have to ask where it came from later. Now, where were we? Discussing the man currently causing your trade difficulties? Right. Lord Valentine sounds slightly strained. Oleander is exhausting, but Lord Valentine must not have much stamina. They've barely been going for 10 minutes. If I am to join you in your trade enterprise, I would like to know what you plan to do with your roadblock. We're still deciding between what options. Bribery may work if the roadblock is just interested in lining his own pockets. There are always threats. Lord Valentine's breathing is getting heavy. But I know you better than that. You're the sort of person who sees a problem and hires an assassin about it. What? You heard me perfectly well. You're... Lord Valentine reaches for his throat. Hush, all is well. How is it possible for a person to choke on air? Lord Valentine's breath comes in thin, labored heaves. He can't get his voice out. Lord Valentine pounds his desk. Well, look at that. You should be grateful, you know? If I had my way, I'd be killing you very slowly. What is happening? I couldn't believe my luck. Getting a rare personal invitation to Lord Valentine's estate, no references needed? And he was willing to take a meeting? Oleander stands and pounds the desk himself, leaning over Lord Valentine. Greedy old bastards like you never change. You're the same as you ever were. He spits on the desk. Just die already. If I don't get to savor it, at least make it quick. But Valentine stands unsteadily. He looks straight at me, one hand outstretched. Alright, bro. Look at him creeping towards me. I'm watching a man die. I can't move. I can barely breathe myself, my lungs squeezed tight with fear. He collapses, arms still stretched towards mine. Towards me. I'm gonna throw up. I do, retching violently and making a mess of the beautiful cloak I was given only hours before. No more of that, I guess. Oleander's hand is gentle on my back, running his palm in a circle over my spine. Well, you're certainly not about to forget this. I'm sorry you had to see that. Unfortunately, I needed you here. I'm trembling. It's not just about Lord Valentine lying dead on the floor. How are you still breathing? The wine you made me pick up, it was poison, but you drank it. I have had a lot of time to prepare for this moment, including developing a strong stomach and high tolerance for darker things. If I look up, I will have to see his mask. I don't want to. But I don't want him to think I'm vulnerable, in case he tries something with me. I doubt it. There he is, unreadable. I know this is difficult for you right now. He cups my cheek through my hood. But right now, I need you to play along with me. You're good at that. But Valentine just died suddenly. He and I both drank the wine from its cellar. That's all you need to say. I'm trembling in earnest. Shocked from seeing someone die. Fear that I'll be next. My empty stomach churns. I'm in hell. I have to scream now. Cover your ears if you need to. He turns to the door and stumbles towards it. Help! For the love of the lunar god! We need help! Lord Valentine just died. Good end. You've learned... Damn. The rules of the slope of the game. Look at that. We finished it a second time. Well, I think this might be like maybe the 5th time. Because I went back and did all the other endings where I die, or I get kidnapped, or he fires me. So yeah. But we did it anyways. I like him. I think Cyrus is still my favorite though. Either way. But we still haven't done Francisco, so we gotta get there first. Very nice. Well, the last person we have left is Francisco. That'll be next. If you guys like this one though with Oleander, give this video a beautiful like and subscribe to see me do Francisco at some point. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time.